What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another episode. We are here in the big snake room. Today we are doing a video on something that a lot of people have been asking me out, what I'm excited to do for you guys. What are the big differences or the main differences between an eastern diamondback rattlesnake and a western diamondback rattlesnake? Hopefully you guys enjoy this video and you learn something new. Alright guys, so here we have the western diamondback rattlesnake. Now this is Miss Tex of mine. Now their scientific name is Crotalus atrox. Now these guys come from the southwestern part of the United States all the way down to Mexico. They have a very large range. So they can live pretty much anywhere where it's not really humid. They live in grasslands, forests, you're okay girl, forests, desert areas, things like that. So here we have Kratos. He is my eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Their scientific name is Crotalus adamantius. These guys are endemic, which means only found in that area, to the southeastern United States only. Now, eastern diamondback rattlesnakes, they live in places like pine forests, swamps, bogs. They actually love the humidity, unlike the western diamondback rattlesnake. A lot of people see these guys even swimming across lakes because they are such great swimmers. So western diamondbacks on average get anywhere between 3 to 5 feet long. They're a good sized rattlesnake. So the eastern diamondback rattlesnake is actually the largest of all the rattlesnakes. These guys can get anywhere from 7 to 8 feet long. They are ginormous. Now I'm going to attempt to get these two next to each other so you guys can physically see the difference of these different snakes. Now, eastern diamondback rattlesnakes sometimes have a little bit different color pigments depending on where that particular snake is from, but relatively they're still the same. Now, come on baby. Now these guys are terrestrial snakes. That means they live on the ground, and they are diurnal. That means they come out during the day only. Now Miss Tex is probably going to be the one that's going to be a bit of a problem here. So, closest to me we have the western diamondback rattlesnake, and closest to you guys we have the eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Now I'm going to try and get the camera just above the two of them a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you can see here the color difference in the two snakes. Now both have a diamond pattern. The eastern diamondback rattlesnake, which is this guy right here, has an actual more of a diamond shape, where the western here has, this particular one has more of a, it's got the diamond shape, but a lot of it is kind of circular. So also if you look right here at the tails, okay, they both have kind of straight tails, but the western diamondback rattlesnakes have what we call a coon tail, meaning it goes from black to white, white to black, and so on and so forth. The easterns do not actually have that. But if you look at both of their faces, let's see if I can get them both close to each other here. Come here, baby. They both have that big stripe under the eye, which a lot of the American vipers actually have that particular stripe underneath their eye. Another thing these guys also have in common is they have keeled scales. That means in the very middle of their scale, they actually have a little bump or line that is raised. So they're not smooth in any way, shape, or form. Both of the rattlesnakes are pit vipers. That means they have their little heat-seeking pits in front of their face. Those are called auroral pits. Now, if you come over here again and look at the head shape, the head is a little bit different on the western than it is the eastern. Easterns are actually known for the shape of their head, where the western's neck is a little fatter right behind the head. The eastern's is not as fat. Oh, you guys look so cute together. Now, their body shape is relatively the same between the snakes, and they just have very well camouflaged to where they come from. So I just put Miss Tex away, which is the western diamondback rattlesnake, because they're more of a flighty snake. They like to run versus stay and fight. Where eastern diamondback rattlesnakes, like Kratos here, you notice how he's sitting. He's sitting very calm, kind of relaxed. This is how they spend most of their day. Now, especially in the heat of the day, they'll sit under either brush or shade and just sit just like that with their tail kind of erect like that. So in case something bigger or a predator or anything comes near them, they can immediately start rattling that tail. Now, another big thing with the tail on a lot of rattlesnakes, and this goes for all rattlesnakes, everybody thinks you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by how many beads are on its tail, but that is not true at all. Every time the snake sheds, it grows another bead. So out of reality, this snake has, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads on his tail. Doesn't mean he's 6 years old, he's actually only 3 years old, or he's actually just shy of 3 years old. So he's only shed for me 6 times in 2.5 years. Now, their scales and tail, their beads on their tail, are all made out of keratin. So they're very fragile, just like our fingernails. If you were to hit your fingernail too hard, it would break. Their tails are the same way. So a lot of rattlesnakes will actually lose bits and pieces of their tails over a lifetime due to the fact of branch falling on it, or it getting stuck in something, or anything really. So we're going to go ahead and put Kratos up in the cage. What, do you not want to go home? And we're going to feed these 2 snakes, and we're going to talk a little bit about their venom and the prey they eat as well. So first we're going to feed the 2 eastern diamondback rattlesnakes I have together. I'm going to talk about their fangs a little bit. They do have, like all vipers, they have the hinged fangs. So their fangs do come out from the top of their mouth and down into a prey item, or if they were to defend themselves. Their fangs are also like hypodermic needles. They have holes that run through them, which the venom glands connect to push out the venom into that. Now we're going to go ahead and feed them really quick, and then I want to talk a little bit about the venom when we get down to the western diamondback. So as you just saw, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake bit and let go of the rat. Now this is something both of these snakes do happen to actually do. So what they will do is when they're hunting, or if they're ambushed or anything, they will bite that prey item, inject the venom into it. Being that it's a hemotoxic venom, the prey will then run off and actually die from the venom either a few minutes later, depending on the size of the prey item. Then the snake will go find the prey item to be able to eat it. Now, because it's a hemotoxic venom, believe it or not, it causes hemorrhaging and all types of stuff. It's very necrotic. You're already hungry, aren't you? So she's actually getting, this is the western diamondback, she's getting a little bit larger meal because she's a little bit larger of a rattlesnake. Look what I got. Using that tongue, boom, quick little love tap. So you can actually see, I'm going to point with my snake hook right here, this yellowish tint. You can usually see it better on a white rat, but that's actually venom from her. So we're going to go ahead and put that right there. Now she would use, or the rattlesnakes would use their tongue, the Jacobson organ in the roof of their mouth, to go find that prey item to then consume it. So now when it comes to their venom, because they both have hemotoxic venom, it attacks those red blood cells. Now, both Eastern's and Western's venom is relatively the same. I believe the Western's venom is actually just a little bit worse, and more people actually tend to get bit by Western diamondbacks than they do the Eastern diamondbacks. That's because a lot of the time, especially in those old cowboy movies, every time you saw a rattlesnake, it was always a Western diamondback. They breed in the thousands. I mean, you could find videos online of people lifting up things out in the desert areas, and there's hundreds of snakes under like a shed. I remember one viral video being. The Easterns tend to camouflage better and live in more forest, condensed areas. They actually love rabbits. Once they get a certain size, that's all they eat is rabbits. If you get a very large Eastern diamondback rattlesnake out of the wild, that's the only thing that it will actually eat. So their venom basically doesn't allow your blood to clot. So you constantly are bleeding from the bite area, and also like your nose will bleed, your eyes can bleed, your mouth can bleed, lots of these different areas. So their venom is no... What? You guys are both done eating your rats. Their venom is no joke. it would suck to actually get bit by one of these rattlesnakes. Now, if you were to get bit, the best anti-venom, or one of the most common anti-venoms out there for most rattlesnakes and most snakes here in the country, is called Crofab. Pretty easy. It's pretty much everywhere. Almost all states that have rattlesnakes or copperheads or water moccasins have Crofab in stock, just because it's used for almost everything. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something new. Huge thank you for you guys for watching. Big thank you to my Patreons as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Like always, remember, subscribe if you are not already. Smash that like button if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.